All right, y'all. So next up, we're checking out some mind-blowing, fascinating, deep dive videos, man, from untold stories to hidden truths. Who knows what's down this rabbit hole, man, but we about to break it down. So let's check it out.
You guys, scientists made a light cast a shadow for the first time, and you do not understand what this means for our reality. This is literally proving how the universe works and my theories. Okay, let me explain. Okay, really quick, I have a theory that there are two energies that make up our entire universe, that create our reality. There is a mother and a father, and our reality, the matter, is a child. And just like you can see a child without their mother and father, but they have those characteristics, but the mother and father don't have to be there physically, these two forces are the hidden forces in the universe that create our reality. I call these forces plasma, you can call it energy, and consciousness, you can call it light. It has to do with photons. This more has to do with plasma, energy, the matrix. It is the clay that is molded by consciousness. Consciousness is constantly feedbacking with this clay, this plasma, to create our reality. I feel like that should make sense. So with this article, basically under specific conditions, a laser beam can cast a shadow, just like a solid object can cast a shadow. This was thought to be impossible because light does not usually interact with other light. But it happened, and here's what it means for my theory about the two energies creating matter. My theory, plasma, this special type of creation plasma, you can call it ether, energy, it acts as a bridge between dimensions, and consciousness is the light that shines on it. Think of the singularity shining on this plasma laser beams, which in turn creates our 3D reality. So through this singularity, this higher consciousness interacting with our plasma fields, our reality is created. And then it is continuously co-created by our little individual consciousnesses that are constantly feeding back with that plasma. So as this singularity or this fifth dimensional space is creating our reality, we, the little ants, are also creating our reality. It is a process all of us are experiencing together, our mirror sides and us. And this would seem like total metaphysics or not real, really, if it wasn't just proved by fucking science. Basically, the interaction of the consciousness shining onto this laser, this plasma field, this matrix to create our reality is just like in this. Think of realities as the shadow. Our reality is the shadow. And just like there's a shadow cast by the laser, the plasma, our observable universe, our reality is a holographic projection of higher dimensional space, of this singularity, of this fucking light bulb that casts a shadow or whatever casts a shadow on this laser, or the shadow that was cast by the laser from this higher light. This basically goes perfect with my theory that these two energies, this plasma and this consciousness, are hidden. It's still real. Just like when you look at a person, they have blood in them, they have veins in them, but you're not going to see the blood inside of them. You'll see the bumps of the veins on the skin, so you'll see symbols and signs these things are real, but you can't prove it just by looking at them. We can't prove plasma and consciousness just by looking at the universe. You have to go under the hood. So plasma, this energy, this matrix, can hold and transport consciousness through photons, through light, in ways we don't see, like blood traveling through veins. And it is there shaping everything, shaping our reality. But it's only visible when light or awareness shines on it. Like when you do shadow work, when you go deeper into that fourth dimensional space, into that dark matter energy area, that is when you see under the hood. Through meditation, through astral projection, through introspection, through getting to know yourself. Knowing thyself is literally the key to knowing thy universe or this reality. I love this because literally in this theory, in my mind, it proves that there is a higher consciousness, a higher reality that we are projected from. That is a real reality, but we are just as real, and both of us have just as much influence on this between plasma field that is between this fifth dimensional space and our third dimensional space, and it makes all of it up. It is like, think of it as like fourth dimensional fascia of both of these realities. Think of it as the membrane that is literally creating our reality, and it makes our reality up, and it helps us evolve and expand. And this higher consciousness learns as we learn, aka the universe, the mystery, is learning about itself as our individual consciousnesses. The way I like to think about it is a picture frame. So you could picture the frame as a two-dimensional reality, but I think it also expands into this fourth dimensional reality. Let me explain. So there's a two-dimensional frame, which we could think of as dark matter, dark plasma, the bridge between the singularity and reality. And this two-dimensional frame projects a four-dimensional reality or space that manifests as dark matter or dark plasma. This is where consciousness kind of travels within its veins and manifests into our 3D reality, which is earth and light and matter, light matter. So it is a two-dimensional frame creating a four-dimensional matrix, which our third-dimensional hologram light reality is. And by learning how to meditate, astral projection, by learning our own consciousness and how to travel through these photons, through this plasma highway, we can actually train our consciousness to ascend into this fifth dimensional space, a place of learning, creativity, wisdom, literally our higher self, literally actually our higher selves, whatever that mystery is beyond.
See, she's tapped in. She's figured it out in her way and made it make sense to the point to where that's the level of I guess consciousness or understanding. Let's say understanding. That's the level of understanding I strive to get to one day, bro, or even further than that. You know what I mean? Being unplugged. I always make the comments of being unplugged out the matrix and understanding what's going on. That's why that movie is still so powerful to me. You know what I mean? And understanding this simulation that we're in. She's tapped in and got it, bro.
NASA dropped a photo of Michigan from space, and it's interesting for 3 reasons. You can see the fall foliage, you can see how farming practices and fertilizer runoff could impact drinking water for over 1 million people, and one of the prettiest parts of the state is covered by clouds. That part of the state has a problem. Say hi to the Upper Peninsula. It sits between Lake Michigan and Lake Superior, and is astonishingly beautiful. You can imagine that some happenings on the UP would affect the lakes to either side. If you throw trash on a beach here, it'll probably end up in Lake Michigan unless someone picks it up. That might be important for later. Now, Lake Superior is called Lake Superior because it's the uppermost lake. I like calling it Lake Superior because water flows from it to the other 4 Great Lakes. The lakes combined hold 21% of the whole world's fresh water. And underneath this cloudy spot is a little place called the Porcupine Mountains, a Midwestern treasure affectionately nicknamed the Porkies. It's filled with water and wildlife and beautiful forests. A Canadian company is trying to build a mine here. The mine will reap 1.5% copper and 98.5% waste filled with heavy metals, operate for less than 11 years, and ship the copper out of the country. The waste, though, will keep on existing, and they plan to put it in a tailings pond about 2 miles from Lake Superior. The dam proposed to hold the waste back and withstand 1 in 100-year storms, and 2 1 in 1,000-year storms have happened in the surrounding area in the last decade. If the dam breaks, a 3-meter wall of toxic water will run toward Lake Superior and be there within minutes. Even if the weak dam somehow held forever, nearly all the copper sulfide mines in the U.S. have contaminated nearby water sources. And mining like this tends to lead to lower employment and lower income for communities nearby over time, not to mention the drop in property value. However, the company is on the rocks, and they want the state of Michigan to give them $50 million in taxpayer money to build the mine. The Michigan Senate is about to vote on this, and they've taken interest in a petition going around to see how many people out there are watching. If Michigan doesn't give the grant, the mine will not get built. Anyone can sign, and you get bonus points if you're from Michigan. So grab a friend and sign the petition to save the beauty beneath those clouds at the link in my bio. NASA dropped a...
I hope this helps. Like, everybody needs to look into this right now and see if this, and verify if this is really going on. That's crazy that we have to come to TikTok or social media to give information, because has anybody seen this on mainstream news or anything talked about like that? No, they probably don't deem it as important. All the other controversy is important to them.
I just did a deep dive on this 16-year-old who was running from the FBI for 3 years. This is Colton Harris Moore. He's also known as the Barefoot Bandit. Colton didn't have the best childhood. I'm not going to get into details, but one reoccurring issue he had with his mom, she would just be careless when it came to buying food. So there would be no food in the house, and he'd be like, yo, are you going to get some food? And she'd be like, So eventually, after living with his mom and barely having any access to food, he was like, okay, I'm just going to run away and steal some food because I'm really hungry. So he leaves his house and he starts living in the woods, but he starts breaking into people's houses, people that reside in the town. So everyone's like, have you heard about this kid? He's breaking into our home so he can eat our food. And then some people are like, just let him be. Maybe he wants some fruit snacks. Are we really one to judge him for that? One day, the police are looking for Colton because they're always looking for Colton. In the forest, they come across this tent and it has all this jewelry, these laptops, money. They scope out the forest. Colton is nowhere to be found. And the next day, a handwritten letter is given to his mom or left on his mom's porch. It said something like, police want to play games, this is war. Colton was repping his colors. He was about it. Come to find out, when the police found that tent of his, he was in the forest lurking, watching their every move, and they still didn't find him. At this
I'm still stuck on the people saying, oh, just leave him alone. He just wants some food. Who says that about allowing somebody to break in your home? I don't care who it is. And then when the police stumble on his tent in the forest, what they find? Jewelry, laptop. So he was wanting more than just food, bro. Like, what do you think? It's a gateway. They may start out just wanting food, but when they see they can break in and see valuable stuff, they're going to keep going.
Point, everyone still thinks Colton is just a kid who wants some food. Then he starts stealing airplanes. And people were wondering, they were like, how does he even know how to fly a plane? He's 16. You watching this, you might be asking the same question. He said he learned from video games. He refused to use planes that he never used in a video game, which is the logic. It's almost there, but it's not, you know? An anonymous donor came forward and they were like, Colton, if you turn yourself in, I will personally give you $10,000. Just come on, buddy, turn yourself in. $10,000, but you have to reply in like 5 days. This offer isn't on the table forever. They waited 5 days, no answer. Crickets. Colton said, it ain't about the paper. It's about the game. I love the game. Since Colton is stealing airplanes at this point, he's like, I think the smartest thing for me to do right now is just go off the grid. So he flies his plane to the Bahamas. On one of the days Colton is in the Bahamas, he pulls up to this party on a stolen boat. And he's like, hey, did y'all hear about the kid who crashed his plane? They immediately stop their music and they're like, okay, who are you? Are you that one white kid who came over here and is stealing food and stuff? Because we can feed you. And he was like, no, I just need you guys to call the cops on me. I want to be chased. And they were like, we're not going to do that.
Bro I think he's in a real life video game he's playing. What's the game? I think he's playing GTA in real life with himself, bro. He's just running around. Let me get a car. Let me break in somebody's house. Let me get a plane, go somewhere, call the police, let's get a chase, let's see how many stars we can get rid of. Like, he's in a real live video game, I think.
And he's like, no, call the cops, I'm serious. And they're like, I just opened this bottle. To be honest, I'm not really feeling calling the cops. But then he's like, call the cops, and he speeds off. So then they're like, what a buzzkill. And they call the cops. Eventually, Colton is caught in the Bahamas, but not by the US police, by the Bahamian police. Police broadcast this on TV for like days. They're like, oh, look, US, we had to catch this kid. God damn, you were looking for this kid for 3 years. We looked for him for 8 hours, found him. Real quick, I wanted to include this note Colton wrote to this animal hospital. Drove by, had some extra cash. Please use this for the care of the animals. Colton Harris Moore, aka the Barefoot Bandit. Pretty cool guy, you know? I'm gonna be honest. Has he really given us a reason to dislike him at this point? Okay, so he stole a plane. Listen, we all do stupid things when we're kids. He committed 67 felonies in 3 different countries, and he stole things like airplanes and boats. Honestly, kind of based when you think about it. I just did a deep dive on this.
Yeah, we can all say that because number one, our houses weren't the houses that was getting broken into and robbed and had to either replace the stuff that was taken or damaged. So we can all probably say that's a cool story, but the people who had to live through that probably don't think so. You know what I mean? That's still, though, by far one of the craziest and twisted stories I've ever heard, bro. It almost sounds fictional.
This brand new true crime documentary is going to be released in just a couple of weeks, and this one you need to have on your calendar because it looks incredible, so let's get into it. This is going to be a docu-series, and it says it's going to have 3 different episodes, and it is called Making Manson, and it will be on Peacock or Oxygen if you get cable. If you aren't familiar with Charles Manson, if you're either too young or just don't know about it, Charles Manson was a notorious cult leader and serial killer. He orchestrated a ton of brutal murders in the 60s. The weird thing about it is that Charles Manson didn't physically do it himself, rather created an entire cult and following who had those people carry out his heinous thoughts and the things that he did to people. But again, he didn't physically do it. While this case is very well known in the United States, and I honestly think around the world, there will be over 100 hours of audio recordings from the people in the cult themselves. So they do say it's going to be a little bit different than what you have seen before. So mark your calendars and let me know what you think. This brand new
Part 2. So the show Victorious was on the air for about 3 years, and after Victorious wrapped up, the Nickelodeon audience loved Ariana Grande, and specifically her character Kat Valentine, so much that the producers at Nickelodeon decided to bring Ariana Grande back alongside Jeanette McCurdy from iCarly, and they created a sitcom for the two of them called Sam and Kat. Kat Valentine, and then Jeanette reprised her role as Sam from iCarly in this new sitcom with Ariana. Sam and Kat only aired for about a year. I think there was 35 episodes in total, and there was a lot of rumors going on about how there was tension between Jeanette and Ariana, the two main stars. And I'm sorry, just a side note, I feel like there are some people who really wear their emotions on their face, and you can just really tell when they're uncomfortable or...
This picture for sure. I was looking at that. I was like, how did she find this picture? But this picture perfectly displays it. You know what I mean? If somebody took this picture and said, nah, we're cool, you look at the picture and be like, nah, they lying.
Annoyed? Right there. In Jeanette's memoir that she released in 2022, she went into detail about how uncomfortable it was working with Ariana Grande. Jeanette explained in her memoir that Ariana seemed much more interested in her music career than the contract that she had previously signed with Nickelodeon. Supposedly, Ariana would frequently miss filming days or show up to set late almost every single day. And according to Jeanette, when she was on set behaving like a diva. Jeanette also kind of explained the favoritism dynamic that was going on while they were on set between the Nickelodeon producers, and how Ariana was able to get away with a lot more than she was. Producers had no problem at all rewriting episodes to fit Ariana Grande's busy work schedule. But Jeanette was never accommodated by Nickelodeon, nor was she allowed to work on other projects while working with Nickelodeon, while Ariana Grande is allowed to live her pop star dreams and do whatever she wants. According to Jeanette, one day Ariana showed up late to set and went on to brag to everyone around her that she was late because she spent the evening playing charades at Tom Hanks's home. Jeanette explained in her memoir that this is what pushed her over the edge with Ariana. She explained having feelings of resentment and jealousy, which are honestly very valid in this situation. And we have to also remember Jeanette was dealing with all of that while dealing with a insane mother at home. Sam and Kat...
Wait. Did that say, I'm glad mom... Whoa. A New York Times bestseller. I'm glad my mom died by Jeanette McCurdy. Jeanette was dealing with... Oh my gosh. Bro, and it says impressively funny, an important cultural document. All of that just seems weird to me. Like this whole more stuff needs to come out about that whole Nickelodeon era, man, because it's some stories.
A insane mother at home. Sam and Kat rapping, the show concluding, was really Ariana's beginning into becoming a massive pop star in the music industry. Ariana was releasing singles, she released an album, she was being featured on chart-topping hits with huge artists in the industry, such as Lady Gaga, The Weeknd, Jessie J, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Iggy Azalea, Zedd. Ariana Grande was truly on fire. Ariana has even collaborated with industry giants such as Lana Del Rey and Miley Cyrus. Ariana very quickly went from Nickelodeon teen sensation to a household name in the music industry. Ariana's massive success has come with a myriad of different awards as well. American Music Awards, Grammys, tons of MTV Music Video Awards, Kids' Choice Awards, Teen Choice Awards, Billboard Music Awards, and that's just to name a few. As we get into more of the controversial details about Ariana Grande, I do want to make this disclaimer. I do want to make this exceptionally clear that her success and her talent is absolutely not lost on me. I think Ariana Grande is exceptionally talented, but I also think that Ariana Grande believes that she is exceptionally talented and so successful and so powerful that she can do virtually whatever she wants.
Now, I can ultimately see both sides of this, to be honest with you. I can see it from Ariana's side. Like, I'm not only doing so much, and I'm also doing Nickelodeon. So if I'm late, it's because I have so much going on. And Nickelodeon is going to be like, okay, yeah, we need to work around. She's going to bring so much attention because she's tapped into so many different worlds. So the other girl feeling jealous, I understand where she's coming from because she feels like she's being a professional. She's coming to work on time. She's giving her all. And this person, which she doesn't understand the side that Ariana's coming from. So I can see both sides of that. And that's just being an adult and being mature. Back then, I would probably be like, yo, that's right, man. She shouldn't be allowed to show up late. Who does she think she is? But at the same time, if you zoom out and look at everything she got going on, I guarantee Nickelodeon was like, so what if she late? Look at the attention she's going to bring. And that ultimately is all they care about is their bottom line.
Have you heard about Madeline McCann? She's the 3-year-old who went missing during a family vacation to Portugal. Here's what happened. It's Thursday, May 3rd, 2007, and the McCanns, Kate, Jerry, Madeline, and Madeline's twin baby siblings are on the 6th day of their family vacation to Portugal. They're staying at the Ocean Club Resort in Praia da Luz with several other families from their social circle back home in England. In total, there are 9 adults and 8 kids, including Kate, Jerry, and their kids. Much like the first few days of the trip, the family ate breakfast together at the apartment that they were renting. After breakfast, all 3 kids were dropped off at their age-appropriate activities, while Jerry and Kate played tennis. The couple met their kids for lunch before sending them back to their activities for a few more hours. When evening came, Kate and Jerry picked up their 3 kids and took them back to the apartment. There, they fed, bathed, and tucked the little McCanns safely into bed. The twins slept in travel cots provided by the resort, while Madeline slept in a single bed. The group of adults had a reoccurring dinner reservation at the resort's tapas restaurant, so each night they met up for dinner, leaving their children in the apartment alone with the intention of checking in every half hour. The patio doors could only be locked from the inside of the apartment, and so they decided that they would leave them unlocked but closed. Kate and Jerry felt safe because they could see the apartment from the restaurant, and
That's still just, that irks me, man. I never tell y'all how to parent. Y'all can never tell me how to parent. But for me, leaving my kids at home, that age, I don't care how far away I am, I couldn't do that, bro. And leaving the doors unlocked.
Every night before, Kate and Jerry returned to their room where their kids slept peacefully, and so did they. Each day was the same until it wasn't, because this night would end differently. At 9:05 p.m., Jerry went for the first check-in. He noticed right away that the door to the kids' bedroom was further ajar than he had left it. But after checking the kids and finding them all exactly how he had left them, he used the restroom and headed back to the restaurant. He bumped into a friend from the tennis club on the way and had a short conversation. In fact, one of the other adults in the group mentioned having seen Jerry talking to this man on her way to check on her kid. When 9:30 rolled around, it was Kate's turn to go check in on the kids again. But when she stood up, one of the other parents in the group who was staying in the room immediately next door to the McCanns decided to go for her because he had to check on his kids anyway. Kate was reluctant, but she agreed. When he returned, he reassured them that all was well. Then at 10 p.m., Kate went back to the apartment herself, and she noticed the door seemed a little more open than they had left it. She walked towards the room and went to pull the door shut, but it slammed instead, as if it had been caught in a gust of wind. Kate knew she hadn't left the patio door open, and the window in the kids' room was always shut, so the slam didn't make sense. Immediately, she opened the door and walked into the room and waited for her eyes to adjust to the dark. Right away, Kate notices that Madeline's bed's empty. She turns on the light and realizes with a shock that the window in the bedroom, which had always been shut, was now wide open. Can't fit everything, go to part 2. Have you heard about Madeline?
See, my thing is, bro, people pay attention. Like, when you go out of town or you go to a foreign country or you go somewhere that, you know what I mean? that you don't normally frequent, people pay attention to you. People watch you. And if they see you with a big group of people and with your kids and stuff like that, and then each night they see you without them, they start watching your movement, bro. That was easy for somebody to pick up on and see that you were leaving your kids home alone or at this location y'all were staying at, not home, but leaving them there alone. And they just waited and plotted. Or your kid could have got up in the middle of the night, wandered out into somebody that was bad, didn't know, and they took them. Like, it's so many different scenarios. But I had checked out this story a little while back, and as far as I'm concerned, like, I don't think the family was ever charged with anything, or there's been no update or big breakthrough on the case.